Welcome back to Pitt Beyond the Script alongside Pat Bostick. I'm Rob King of AT&T Sportsnet. Pat, the Panthers coming off a bye, obviously a 4-game losing streak going in. By the way, their opponent this week, Florida State, also coming off a bye. Let's talk about what a bye can mean for a team. First, the mental aspects. Is it like a fresh start now, almost like you're playing a whole new season?
Yeah, I mean, you take the bye to first get physically rested. I mean, a big part of that is physical, right? Just getting off your feet, getting away from it, getting things caught up in school. And then I think it is a fresh start because it's an opportunity for the coaching staff to take a hard look at tendencies and some of the things that have ailed you in the early part of the season. I know Pat Narduzzi and his staff took a look at both offensive and defensive tendencies, where they've been deficient, try to iron them out and take a hard look in the mirror. Obviously, coming off a 4-game losing streak, you take a harder look in the mirror than you typically would, but really a lot of the focus is inward, and it is a fresh start to come out, play these last 4 games like it's a 4-game season.
For a team that started the season 3-0 and got themselves ranked in the top 25 and had big goals in mind, how difficult is it mentally, from a mental standpoint, for these young men to reset their expectations? Easy, hard, somewhere in the middle?
Somewhere in the middle. I think, these guys are resilient. They play week in and week out. It's a grind through the course of a season. I think it probably is harder when you get a chance to have an off week and you get a chance to watch college football on the weekend and you realize that, hey, we're not in the conversation we want to be in, right? You're not getting posted in the rankings at the top of the conference and things like that. But when you have a game in front of you and you know that your games are limited, especially in a year like this where going week to week it's not a certainty that you're going to get to Saturday. But when you're a senior or a junior, you realize that your pitch count is coming down, right? You've only got a few games left. It's easy to get motivated. And this team wants to end this chapter of this season on a high note. And that's all you can focus on, regardless of what happened in the past.
Yep, still plenty of opportunities for this team. You talked about getting healthy. You talked about kind of resetting a little bit what you're going to do maybe schematically. As we look back on the first half, let's call it the first half of the season, what are some of the positives? And we've seen Jordan Addison as a wide receiver. We've seen some excellent play out of some guys on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Yeah, I mean, the front seven has been terrific. They've really been excellent. I think against Notre Dame, obviously, they let Ian Book get out of their grasp a couple times, and that's been an issue in a couple games this year where quarterbacks just extended plays just beyond where he probably should have, and it's caused some lapses in the secondary. But they've been staunch against the run. They held Notre Dame well below their average outside of Ian Book. And I think they've been excellent, obviously, creating havoc. They're third in the country in TFLs. They're third in the country in sacks. Lead the conference in both of those statistical categories. That's what they want to do up front. And offensively, Kenny Pickett, up until getting hurt, I thought played well above the line. He was accounting for 301 yards of total offense per game, which is a big number, led the ACC. Hopefully he gets back this latter 4-game part of the season, and we get a chance to see him finish his senior year the right way, because he's a terrific player. He's a tough guy, and I thought he was playing at a very high level up until getting dinged up against BC.
This is a really important game for both teams. Florida State needs to go 4-1 down the stretch to make the postseason and play in a bowl game. The Panthers obviously fighting for the opportunity to play a bowl game as well. This isn't really the same Florida State. By the way, the last time these two teams played, Jameis Winston was quarterbacking for Florida State. But 6-7 last year, 5-7 the year before. Not the same Florida State team we're used to seeing.
No, Mike Norvell, their coach, obviously first-year head coach, they've had their issues. He had to miss some time with COVID, and they've had it's an atypical offseason for everybody across the country. But to come in and have no spring ball essentially, and no summer, and really a limited training camp, or a training camp that was kind of by fire, he's really trying to speed things up there. So it's a rebuild. I mean, it's a rebuild for him and his staff. New offensive and defensive schemes, obviously. Getting to know players. They've got some high-level players. You look at Marvin Wilson, their defensive tackle's a first-round draft pick, probably, and a preseason All-American. Trying to get these guys bought in to a new mentality when they saw their coach get let go a year ago. So all the things that are always hard in a normal year for a first-year head coach to deal with has been exacerbated by obviously this COVID year. It's not the same team we're typically seeing, but you look position by position, the talent's there. I mean, the size is there, the speed's there. It's just getting them to play together. It's easier said than done.
Well, and they beat number 5 North Carolina, so that before obviously getting beaten soundly by a Louisville team that had been struggling going in. But this is a team, Jordan Travis, you look at LaDamian Webb, Travis at the quarterback position. Deb, their second leading rusher behind Davis. Webb is a freshman who's third. So they're turning things over to some young guys and trying to build some excitement and some momentum over the last 4 games of the season.
Outside of the Louisville game, there's a stretch in pretty much every game where their highs are really high. I mean, Travis gets going in the run game, he's their leading rusher. He gets going in the pass game. They start getting multiple in what they do offensively. They start getting going. They're a hurry-up style offense, so that's what they want to do. When they start getting some momentum, they're tough to contend with. And defensively, they haven't created the type of havoc you see out of Florida State defenses in the past. You know, only 7 sacks on the year, 30 TFLs, but there's flashes there of good football. So really, it's the inconsistency that's hurt Florida State, and it's led to some lopsided losses where things have just kind of gotten away from them. But make no mistake, I mean, they're a good team. They've got talent. And I think a lot of the spark that you see from beating North Carolina is because of Jordan Travis, their quarterback. He is a guy that can do it all.
The Panthers looking to improve to 4-4 in the season and snap the 4-game losing streak. Pat, we'll look forward to listening to you on Saturday. All right, stick around. We're going to sit down with Servassier Dennis when we resume on Pitt Beyond the Script.